Hello, sixth graders. We are in Unit 9, Applying Percent, and our video today is on percent equation and percent proportion. The first thing that we are going to learn about here is the percent proportion, and this can be used with our percent problems when we are trying to find like the whole amount of something, or if we're given the percent and we need to find part of it. This can help us to figure that out. Percent proportion compares part of a quantity to a whole quantity for one ratio, and the percent as a whole number over 100. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Is over of equals percent over 100. That's the way that we'll say it a lot, but it also is part over whole equals percent over 100. Okay. Now, depending on what you're given and what you're trying to find, that all factors into how we set up the problem. So you can see here that based on what it is we are trying to find and like what the word problem would look like, here's how we would set up the proportion. Okay, so let's give it a try. So what are you looking for? This is your variable. So the part that we don't know and we're trying to find, that's where our variable is going to go in our percent proportion. Again, is over of equals percent over 100. So when I read the question, I'm going to break it down into each of the parts. What percent of 24 is 18? So what percent, that's what we're trying to find. Of 24, so that's my of, is 18. Usually the number is connected to the word that it is related to. So is over of, well, we had is 18 over of 24. What percent, the what here tells me that's what we're trying to find, over 100. The percent is always over 100. Then to solve this, we use our cross products and we do 18 times 100. And whatever we get from that, we divide by our third number, the 24. So when I did that, ended up with an answer of 75. And because it's asking for a percent, we better have a percent sign on our answer. Next one, what number is 60% of 100? This has a percent sign on it, which means it automatically goes over the 100. The percent always goes over 100. Then what number is? The is what we are looking for, so that's where our variable goes. Of 150, so that would go on the bottom. And then again, cross multiply. So we would multiply 150 times 60, and whatever we get from that, we're going to divide it by 100. So when I do that on my calculator, I end up with an answer of 90. So my answer would be 90. Last one here, 13 is 26% of what number? So again, we have a number with a percent sign on it, which means it automatically goes over the 100. Then 13 is, that's attached to the is, so it goes in my is spot. Of what number? Okay, that's the part we're looking for. We don't know it, so that's where our variable goes. And then we are going to cross multiply. So we multiply these two together and then divide by our third number. And when I do that, I end up with an answer of 50. So our of is 50. The other way that we can solve these problems is using the percent equation, and you'll be able to pick which one makes the most sense to you and which one you want to use. Something really important to note here is that the percent equation, the percent always needs to be converted to a decimal. When we were using that percent proportion, we got to just leave it as whatever number it was. This time we would have to convert it. So this is the main part right here that we need to know. This is the percent equation. Part equals percent times whole, or is equals percent times of. So go ahead and add that part into your notes as well. And again, based on what it is that we are given or the type of the question, the examples, then this is how we would set up our percent equation. So let's go ahead and give this a try. Again, we are going to use the equation is equals percent times of, and then again, the percent needs to be turned into a decimal. So just like before, we're going to figure out what we have and what it is that we are looking for. So we have 600 is what percent of 750? And then we can just fill in our numbers from there. So 600 is, that's going to go in place of my is. the percent, that's what we're looking for. What percent tells me that's my variable. Of 750 means I'm going to multiply by 750. So now I have a one-step equation where I'm solving for the variable. And in order to do that, we divide both sides by the number that's with the variable. So when I do that, I end up with this for an answer. However, that needs to be converted to a percent. So to do that, I move my decimal 2 spots to the right. So then what percent? Our answer is 80%. So when you get that decimal answer, when you are trying to find the percent, you have to remember to turn the decimal into a percent. Next one, 45 is 90% of what number? So my percent has a percent sign on it. It automatically goes in the spot of the percent. But again, we need to turn that to a decimal first. So 90%, move the decimal 2 spots to the left. 45 is, so that's going to go in spot of my is, and then of what number? That's the part we are trying to find. So that's going to be my variable. I'm going to pick a different one since I use that multiplication symbol. And then again, just divide by the number that's with the variable for this one. So now we're going to do 45 divided by 9/10. And when I do that, I end up with an answer of 50. Now this one's not asking for a percent. We already had the percent. It's just asking for the of, so we don't have to do any converting. This right here is just our final answer. Next one, what number is 30% of 70? So again, I see a percent. I'm going to automatically turn that to a decimal by going 2 spots to the left, and I'm going to put that in place of my percent, which is right after the equal sign. What number is? The is what we are looking for, so that's where our variable goes. Of 70, so that goes next to the percent. Now, the variable is on the other side all by itself, so we don't have to do any, like the dividing by both sides. We just multiply 0.3 times 70 in order to get our answer, and we end up with an answer of 21. So that's our part, our is. Here I would like you to pause and try on your own using either method. So this is where you get to decide if you like the percent proportion or the percent equation better, and then I want you to try solving them. Okay, I'm going to kind of alternate between them. So this first one, I'm going to go ahead and use the percent equation. What number is 35% of 22? So the percent automatically goes over the 100. What number is, so that's the part we're trying to look for, of 22. So that goes in our of, and then we are going to cross multiply and divide by 100. And when I do that, I end up with an answer of 7.7 for my is. 1% of what number is 7? I'm going to use the percent equation for this one. So here's my percent. I know I have to turn that to a decimal by moving 2 spots to the left. Of what number is what I'm trying to find, and is 7. So my is equals percent times of. So in the place of the is, I put a 7. My percent, I fill in with a 0 here, so 0.01 times, we don't know, the of is what we're trying to find. So now I'm going to divide both sides by the number that's with the variable. And when I do that, I end up with an answer of 700, which makes sense because 1% is a very, very small amount. So because I'm trying to find the of, which is the whole amount, it should be a lot bigger than that 7. Okay. I'm going to use percent equation with this one again so we can practice with converting the decimals and the percents. So what percent of 65, sorry, I'm going to change my stuff here. What percent of 65 is 13? So again, plugging it into the correct spots in the equation. So is equals percent, we don't know, times of. And then in order to solve that, I'm going to divide both sides by the number that's with the variable. So when I do 13 divided by 65, I end up with this for an answer. 0.2. So I'm going to work over here now. Now, I don't leave my answer that way because I'm looking for a percent. I need to turn that into a percent by moving the decimal 2 spots to the right. So my answer would actually be 20%. And make sure whenever they're asking you for the percent that your answer includes a percent sign. Now we're going to use either the percent proportion or equation to help us with this word problem. A survey found that 25% of people age 18 to 24 gave up their home phone and only use a cell phone. If 3,264 people only use a cell phone, how many people were surveyed? So the biggest thing with word problems is remembering that is the part and of is the whole amount. So because we're looking at how many people were surveyed, like how many total, that would be the of. And if this is just the people who said that they use their cell phone, that's only part of the people of the survey, that would be our is. And then obviously this has the percent sign on it, which makes that go in the place of our percent. I'm going to use the percent proportion. That's my favorite, so that's one that I'm going to use the most. But the percent over 100. But again, if you prefer the other way, please use the equation. So the is 3,264. We don't know the total or the whole amount, so that's where our variable goes. And then again, I'm going to cross multiply and divide that by the third number. And I ended up with an answer of 13,056. So that's how many people in all took the survey. That's it for the percent proportion percent equation. If you're feeling stuck or confused, go back and rewatch it. Make sure to have your notes in class.